Hey, this is Double R. I wanted to tell you that Anchor by Spotify is a great and easy way to make a podcast with everything you need and all in one place. Anchor has the tools to allow you to record, edit your podcast straight from your phone or your computer. When hosting with Anchor, you can distribute your podcast to all listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Best of all, it's totally free. So go down the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. This is the Let's Roll podcast with your host, Double R. What's up, everybody? It's Double R, the host that rolls the most, and this is the Let's Roll podcast. Today, we're going to talk about Facebook, Twitter, and beyond. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of social media. We're going to do all of that right after this. Let's talk about social media. Let's talk about Facebook. Let's talk about Twitter. Let's talk about all of them. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm going to start with the good. Social media is, the premise of social media and these platforms are good. It gives you a chance to stay connected to people that are, live too far away. I do believe that people share way too much on the platform, but it gives you the ability to like I said, it gives you the ability to stay in touch with people. Get to see, kids grow up, that you're not close, you don't live close enough to see all the time, or just family in general. It's a great business tool, for Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all those platforms. It's a great way to get the word out about your podcast or your business or whatever, those are good things. I mean, I like it because I can find people that I haven't seen in a long time, and some people find me. For example, I had a guy that actually sold me my first set of DJ equipment, find me on Facebook, and he said, "Hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I was the guy that sold you your equipment." And I recognized the name, and I realized, oh yeah, you were the guy that sold me. So it's cool things like that social media is good for. It's also good to get word out on things, get some information. I'll touch on the information part a little bit more in the bad part of social media, because you got to be careful what information you believe, and you just got to be iffy. But with all the good and positive stuff that social media can be, there's absolutely, positively some bad stuff. And we're going to get into that right after this. Now, I know that first part was kind of short, because the good part of social media is short. But the bad part of social media is way more, and it's like the bad almost outweighs the good of social media. Now, granted, it all depends on the individual, how they use it, what they use it for, and so on. But the overall bad of it is there's too much misinformation. And before you start hating on me and sending me bad comments and all that, yes, there's bad information on both sides of a political party, on both sides of a religious discussion. There's good and bad on both sides of any discussion when it comes to social media. And it's not necessarily social media, but it's just the people that are on social media. So you gotta be really, really, really careful what you believe and what you don't believe, because as much as we want to believe everything that's on the internet, you can't. You can't believe everything on the internet. That's just not how it works. You have to do your due diligence and research and investigate whatever the topic is or whatever somebody's telling you. Do your own research, do your own investigation, and don't just go to one source. Go to multiple sources. I look at it like if 5 entities, out of 5 entities, three of them are telling me the exact same thing and 2 of them are not, I'm going to go with the majority of what they're telling me, because I believe that the majority of the the entities or even people that are telling me the same exact thing are probably telling me the truth versus the 2 that are not. So you gotta just look at it and try to apply common sense to it. Like, if the story doesn't make sense to you, and common sense tells you, well, there's a couple of those things in that story that just don't add up, then obviously it's going to be misinformation or just not correct information. The other part of the social media that I find really bad and taps into the almost ugly part of social media is the entitlement of people thinking they can say whatever they want to say, whenever they want to say it, how they want to say it, no matter the consequences. I see a lot of negativity, and it could be on any kind of subject. And, it's hard to give you an example, but it's like you could take take something that's as simple as a picture of a child doing something, whatever it is, and there will be more negative comments about whatever's in the picture versus positive comments. When I'm going to say it, in the 4 years of the last administration, I used to just look at comments as entertainment to see how crazy the comments were getting, and how I felt, and again, it's my opinion, how I felt the misinformation and the ignorance or not educated enough when certain individuals are making comments. Like you're not even looking at what you're writing, and you're none of what you're saying common sense wise makes sense. Now, I understand that as an individual or as a person or even as a human being, we want to be able to look at something even when we don't agree with something or we're mad about something. We want to find something to blame. And I get that. But to zero down into one thing to say this is to blame, when you know that in most cases it's not just that individual, or that individual doesn't have enough control to fix whatever the problem is, then all this negativity on this platform comes out, and it's more negative than positive as far as comments go. It's really hard to stay positive on a platform that has so much negativity. And I personally try my best not to comment on a lot of things, especially not give my personal view on something, because that's my personal view. It's like somebody saying they're making a comment on something and they're not going to do something that's on the post. Well, I don't care if you don't go do it. Nobody cares if you don't want to go do it. That's not even a comment to make. You could just say, hey, I don't agree with this, and that'd be it. But if you tell me why you're not going to go do something, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me if you personally aren't going to do something, or you don't do something or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Even say something positive about the post, or even if you're going to say nothing, or if you don't agree with it, then just say I don't agree with this deal, right? Then there's the problem that you have consequences of what you say on social media. So we can get into that right after this. So let's talk about the consequences, the ugly part, the part that gets you in trouble on social media. So when somebody says something, and primarily this happens on Twitter, I very rarely hear anything that somebody has said something bad or negative on Facebook that, we, quote, get canceled or get kicked off or whatever. I'm not saying you can't get kicked off of Facebook, but most of the time I hear it's because of Twitter. Like somebody said something on Twitter. blah, blah, blah. This whole idea of that you could say something today, and then years from now, somebody can go back on your Twitter and go, well, you said back and blah, 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 that is frowned upon at the current time. It's weird or funny, or however you want to say it, that things that we did in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and now we're in the 2020s, like all the decades behind us, there are things that we've said or done that we couldn't do now, or not accepted now. It's not that you can't do it, it's just not accepted. There's a group of people out there that just find, well, what you said about, I'll just admit it's just doing, what you said about fat people back, whatever, 5-10 years ago, we find that inappropriate and blah, blah, blah. But what I said back then may not even be what I believe now, or I even agree with what I said back then. So there's consequences to everything that you do on social media. Unless you really try super hard to keep it straight and narrow, just know that whatever you've said can and will come bite you in the butt later. You get in trouble for stuff. Kevin Hart was going to host the Academy Awards. He said some jokes or whatever on Twitter against, I think it was against I never can get the letters right. I'm just going to say against people that are gay. And the Academy was like, oh, we can have this because somebody brought that up, but you said that 10 years ago, and blah, blah, blah. And he come out and said, hey, look, what I said back then, it's not how I feel now. It's not, we have to understand that people can change. And unless that person, for the last 10 years, has been promoting, saying the same exact thing, then you need to give them a benefit of the doubt. You need to say, hey, what do you have to say about this that you said 10 years ago? And give them a chance to say, oh, yeah, that's not a very good look, or, I really shouldn't have said that. But, what I said back then is not how I feel now, blah, blah, and be, okay, cool. Or, better yet, go delete the stuff, and put out another tweet saying, hey, I've deleted blah, 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 because unfortunately I said this 10 years ago. I don't believe what I said now. I'm ashamed of what I said, blah, 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 and I have deleted the post. Take ownership of what you've said in the past. Make it clear if you still believe it or don't believe it. But know that what you've said or done on social media can come back and affect you. And it could hurt you. Now, I'm going to take another break. And when I come back, I'm going to talk about personal things that have happened to me on social media that is somewhat frustrating. And it's still along the bad and the ugly. And I'll get into that right after this. So let's talk about some things that have happened to me personally on Facebook. Now, as many of y'all know or have listened to past episodes, I am 51, will be 52 this June, and I talk to all kinds of people, all kinds of ages, all kinds of nationalities, ethnic groups. I talk to almost anybody and everybody. I am single, I am divorced, so I'm single, and yes, I will talk to girls or women on Facebook. So this has happened to me twice. Now, in most circumstances, I believe that I really didn't say anything inappropriate, wrong, creepy, whatever you want to say, however you want to say it. But a young lady or woman posted, and I'm not going to mention names not to point at anybody, but obviously if somebody's going to hear this, they might know who they are, but I'm not going to tell anybody a name. I'm just going to say an individual. So this young woman posted a cute little post that says, when I am feeling pretty, who am I going to send my pictures to? Now, Me and several other people, and different sexes people, like male and female, said me. They all responded just the word me. Now, that's innocent. That's just, hey, yeah, you can send it to me, whatever. Now, another girl comments that knows me, has talked to me a little bit, comments, you need to stop. You're being creepy. I was like, what? And then another person DM'd me, and he says basically the same thing. Now, the only reason I think both of these people, now neither one of these people are the people or the individual that I commented on their post, that neither one of them are those people. The person I actually commented on hasn't said anything to me, hasn't, acknowledged anything that I've said. But these two individuals have either commented on my post or sent me a DM telling me basically I'm being inappropriate and creepy and I should stop. The only reason they're saying that is the individual that posted was, I'm assuming, somewhere in their early 20s. And here I am in my 50s. And they think it's inappropriate or kind of creepy that I've said me. So they said that. There was another post to the same girl that I said something, and these individuals came attacking me again. Or not really attacking me, but just kind of, you need to stop. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm not saying anything wrong. I am not being... to me, if I was going to be creepy, I'd be like, yeah, baby, send me all your pictures. I want to see everything. I want to see it all, Stuff like that. To me, that would be creepy. But just answering a simple me or, whatever. I don't remember the other one, but I know there was two of them. And what really got me, and got me really mad, was the person I said it to didn't say anything. Nothing. Now there's another one, kind of the same line. Not the same, the guy didn't comment this time, but the same girl did on another post of somebody else that I said something to. Now this particular person was closer to my age, and I said something. And again, I know what this one was. She had a nice picture. She said, look at the dress I bought to go out, right? I'm going to go out in this dress, blah, blah. My response or comment was, ooh la la. That's all I said. And this other girl that commented on the other post comes and starts attacking me a little bit. And I said, what, are you jealous because I'm not saying stuff to you? Or what is your deal? Again, the person I responded to didn't say nothing at all, nothing. So that's the part I don't like, that I don't agree with. That, if you have a problem with somebody and you feel like they're being inappropriate, blah, 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 then DM me. Send me a private message and say, hey, man, blah, 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 on this, and we can talk it out. Now, this leads me into what I wanted to say about social media when it comes to commenting and stuff. When someone is reading text on a screen, on your phone, wherever you're reading text, it's a text, a text message or a DM message or an email, blah, blah, blah. Understand, I or anybody could read whatever you wrote and interpret it any way they wanted to, and it might not even be the way that you're trying to convey it. So understand that if you say something and I read it, then I could take it as you either attacking me, I could take it as you, whatever. Just the way I read it, I can decide what your tone is. Are you being mean? Are you being silly? Are you being funny? Blah, blah, blah. And I've had this discussion with someone else that we have gone back and forth on social media, on different topics and different things, some being personal, some not. But when you are judging me, or you think you know who I am and what I do and what I say, or, blah, 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 and you only know me because we're texting back and forth, there's a big element that you're missing when it comes to that. Unless I outright tell you, I write a message and I put at the end LOL, or I say joking, or I'm kidding, or if I insinuate that I'm just joking here, I'm not being, serious. I'm just, having fun or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like sarcasm and joking sometimes gets misinterpreted or lost in translation or in communication, that it can be taken as a negativity or, an attack or however you want to look at it, right? So I have gotten upset with this person because I was taking their criticism the wrong way. And I made the statement to her, like, you don't know me. You've never hung out with me. You've never seen me face to face. You've never spent, time with me in person to understand who I am, what I, you know what I'm saying? Like without the expression and the tone in your voice, you can misinterpret text. You can misinterpret what is written. Now, on top of that, then you have the problem, and I am very guilty of this, because I am dyslexic. I do have a hard time reading and writing and spelling. So a lot of times I am using either software or my phone to type out what I want to say as far as just talking to it. And I have a bad habit of not really going back and reading what I wrote, or, making sure that it sounds okay. And even then, it will never be punctuated. I'm very bad at grammar. And even when I do type, I'll tell a quick little story. I was doing a web page, way back in early 2000s, because I was really, kind of still am, but was really into wrestling. And I was following this indie promotion that's in Texas. And I was, posting like the results of the shows that I went to. And anyway, there was somewhere I was writing, and I was writing, and I needed to use the word diary. Well, my dyslexia sometimes kicks in, and I wrote dairy. And I didn't realize it was the wrong word, and I didn't even, it didn't say it was misspelled. So I posted it. Somebody came back, commented underneath, man, you should use spell check because you misspelled that word. And I went back and looked at it and went, wait a minute, that word's not misspelled. That word is just the wrong word. So I commented back and said, hey, well, spell check wouldn't have done any good, because was the word misspelled? And he commented back like, no. Then how would a spell check decide if I used the right word or not? At the time, there wasn't grammar check or anything like that. So it was just straight up spell check, and the word wasn't misspelled. So that being said, when I go and post things on social media and stuff, a lot of times I'm not physically typing or texting. I'm talking to my phone, doing, voice typing. And sometimes I either talk too fast or it doesn't quite understand what I said, because I do have a little bit of a mumble and a little bit of a lisp. So, it doesn't always come out perfect. And so it's, a lot of things can be lost in translation and misinterpreted. Communication can be bad when it comes to social media. And you really get your feelings hurt and mad and upset. So, what social media stuff do I use? I use Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I started to use TikTok, which look me up on TikTok. I got some dance videos. I like to go viral. I guess you could say YouTube is kind of a social platform too. But the main ones are Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I do have Snapchat, but I really don't use that much. I mean, I use it to make funny videos and stuff like that, but don't really do anything on it. And then, my primary ones are probably Facebook and Twitter. And I do a lot as far as the Let's Roll podcast goes on Instagram. So I'm trying to do more and more on these platforms, but I'm trying not to comment on too many things, because like the other day I commented on one that was about gas prices, and my first statement was, look, I'm not trying to start anything. I'm just trying to understand. Like, I'm trying to understand your view of why you think gas prices are high. That's it. And that's all I said. And nobody has really come back at me with it. Like, so now there have been times that I have posted something on Facebook intentionally to see what kind of comments that I would get below. And I did that early on. Well, I don't say early on, but I'll say back in the Trump administration, because I wanted to see how people would react to what I said. And I'm not gonna hold any punches here. I didn't like Trump. I didn't support Trump. I didn't vote for Trump. I am a middle of the road guy, so I will vote for either party. It's just based on who I feel is better. So don't come at me about, oh, you're blah, blah, blah. No, I just vote what I believe is right. And just like everybody else is going to vote for what they believe is right. And I, if that's what you believe, great. If I ever ask questions, it's just because I'm trying to understand. I'm for my own sake trying to understand stuff. So, but social media can be a good thing if it's used the right way. It could be a bad thing used the wrong way, and it can absolutely be ugly, because there's a lot of ugliness on social media. What do I want to leave off with? Look, just be mindful of what you say and do on these platforms. I understand that you feel like freedom of speech, you got the right to say whatever, and you absolutely do. You have the right to say whatever you want, but there's consequences in everything you say, do. So your actions have consequences. They could be good ones or bad ones, but they still have consequences. And once you understand that and realize that and accept that, then by all means, say whatever you want. But don't feel like you can say whatever you want, and then there's people that are going to reject what you say, and you get mad because you feel like, well, it's freedom of speech. It is. It absolutely is. You can say whatever you want. That's okay. Just understand that not everybody's going to accept what you say. Not everybody's going to agree with what you say. And there are going to be people that push you away or, quote, cancel you. But that's okay. They have the right to do that. As much as you have the right to say something, they have the right to deny it. Or not deny it, but to, not accept it. They could say, nope, I don't believe in anything you just said. So just remember that. Look, guys, thanks for coming out. And I say coming out like you came here. Thanks for listening to the Let's Roll podcast. Right now, I'm really trying to get 100 subscribers on the YouTube channel. So please go find us on YouTube. Just subscribe. Let me get to 100. That's all I'm asking. Let me get to 100. And then you can go back and unsubscribe if you want to. I don't care. But I really want to get to 100 so I can get to the custom URL. So if you can do that for me, please go do that. Go check out that YouTube channel. I'm really working on a lot of stuff, trying to get more content on all the different platforms that we're using. But as always, until next time, let's roll.
Hey, this is T Rich, and you listen to the Let's Roll podcast with Double R. Make sure you follow us on all social media. Find the links in the description below or at the letsrollpodcast.com.